Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back to the show. We are joined here by Lillian Williams, our Green Mountain medium, our spiritual connector, our empath, our psychic, our
advisor, healer. There's literally everything in one.
I could spend the whole show talking about your titles. Amazing, but
yeah,
sweetie,
it's kind of bad.
No,
it's good
great.
and bad, but
that is wonderful. Multi-talented here, our medium and spiritual healer, Lillian Williams. Welcome back. How's everything today?
It's good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. What?
You stressed?
Do I seem stressed?
A little bit. A little
bit. Oh my gosh, I can't hide anything from this girl. She's that in tune. She can sense everything. I'm a little stressed. Yes, a little bit. How are you? More importantly.
I'm good.
Great.
There's
Please.
a last show today.
Talk to us. Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'll miss you, but we'll still be in touch.
I know. I didn't know if you wanted to book our group session.
Oh, we have to for sure.
Yes.
I want to make it so I have to contact my family to come over. She's going to come to New York. I live on Long Island, and absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. When? We'll talk about it after. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about it right now.
Perfect.
What did you have in mind for us? What does Spirit have in mind for us for your last show?
Today, Spirit really wanted to talk about inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think finding the source of inspiration, I think in today's world, everybody is really looking for like outside sources of inspiration. Spirit says that it should really come from within, because yes, I can sit here and I can be a source of inspiration for you, but until you're willing to do the work, you have to really be able to inspire yourself. Because if you don't have that fight, and if you don't have that drive, and if you don't have that fire to get yourself out of a bad situation, or get yourself out of having a pity party, you can't rely on others for that inspiration. It really has to come from within, and it has to come from a place of, okay, I'm happy with myself, regardless of what I look like, regardless of what my status is, regardless of how many people like me, regardless of it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're not going to be able to appease everybody, and you're not going to be able to the only person you have to worry about pleasing is yourself at the end of the day. Because if you're focused on everybody else's energies, you're just going to be chasing your tail around and around. And it's going to be that constant cycle of, if you're looking for that inspiration from another source, how can you truly be inspired?
Yeah.
Spirit, and with that being said, Spirit has told me I'm an inspiration for so many people, but it's at the same time, not that it's a lot of pressure for me, because it is and it isn't, because it's what I do, it's what I love. But at the same time, yes, I can give you the tools to help yourself out of a bad situation, but it's okay, I'm going to throw you the rope. But at the same time, you have two choices. You can either take that rope and climb out of the hole you've dug for yourself, or you can take it and hang yourself. Sorry.
No,
but it is, because you can't give up, basically, is what Spirit really wants to talk about. No matter what your financial position is, no matter what your you can't give up, because if you lose that source of inspiration within yourself, what do you have?
Yeah.
Nothing, Yeah. And that's what Spirit really wants to talk about through me today. I say through me because I don't know what I'm saying. I scare people. There are controversial things that are going to come out of my mouth regardless, because I've said it before, Spirit has put me here to put the boundaries, because with us shifting, we've shifted out of the Piscean age. We've been in the Piscean age for a very long time, and that's the restrictions, the cultures, this is what I should be doing, this is what I shouldn't be doing, and it's all very set. And that's the thing, there is no set thing. That is all society based. That's all an illusion. The only thing you can truly please is yourself. And you can't be looking for it from somewhere else. Does that make sense? It's one thing to be an inspiration for others, but it's a whole nother thing to be an inspiration for yourself. And you have to find that inspiration with yourself before you can be that for others. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. It does.
That's kind of what spirit's been whispering in my head this week is, baby girl, you're inspiring more people than you know. And it's kind of like, yeah, I am. But at the same time, like, I really wish people could find it within themselves to inspire themselves,
Yeah.
because again, like, not trying to bring up the whole relationship thing, but like, not my life, but clients come to me and they're in a bad situation. Like, let's say they're in a bad marital situation where their husband isn't treating them, or even their wife, because it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, because, and this is what I was trying to get into last time, but I ran out of time, where a lot of the times, like, men have a very, very, very hard time kind of admitting that they've been in a toxic situation, or they've been abused, or they've been mistreated, because they don't like to admit that. Because I find that oftentimes men get very in their pride and they get very in their ego. And I'm not saying that women
Yeah.
don't. I just feel like men, from what I see, men have a much harder time pulling themselves out of that situation, because it's like, they're used to giving because that's the masculine nature. But at the same time, you can't give to somebody who's not willing to give you can't give to somebody who's not willing to give to yourself. No matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much you care for somebody, if they're not treating you right, if they're only about themselves, like, a relationship, a marriage is a partnership. And this is why I'm so apprehensive to date. This is why I'm so apprehensive, because it's like, it's a partnership and I take it very, very seriously. And not a lot of people take it seriously anymore. And like, this is the thing that I see, because it's like, people come to me and it's like, I see through everything. People don't have to tell me that they're being abused. I just know. I can tell by the sound of their voice. I have that bird's eye view where I can look in and I can see. And it's like, I've met, I think, with at least 3 or 4 people this week and this past week. And it's reoccurs a lot where they're trying to pull themselves up out of a toxic situation, where one person, because a lot of the times when you're entering a spiritual journey and you're with somebody that you've been with for a very long time, chances are they're not going to be able to grow and evolve with you.
Yeah.
Because, and that's the thing, if they're not willing to grow and evolve with you and they're not willing to save themselves, you have to walk away. Because if they're not willing to address their own patterns, if they're not willing to address their own toxicities, where like, let's say, because it can be flipped into genders, so I don't want to like villainize like either gender, because I see it all the time where it can be the man or it can be the woman. Because I have friends that I've known for my whole life. Like, I've literally grown up with certain people since we were literally in diapers. And you can't sit here, like, people have their own toxicities. And unless they're willing to grow, you can't be in a healthy relationship with somebody who's not in a healthy energy. Because it's one of those things where, as sad as it is, if they're in that energy where they're not even recognizing that there is something wrong with them, you know what I mean? You can't sit here and try to pull and try to help and try to assist, because that's the empath in us.
Yep.
Because we are, as empaths, we are literally programmed just to help people. And you see, this is the biggest test spirit will put in an empath's place, because you have to learn to love yourself more. You have sometimes the biggest sacrifice an empath has to make is when they're in that, I don't want to pre-diagnose, because I know the narcissistic dynamic is a very big thing, but sometimes when people are in that pattern of, okay, this is stable, but it's not good enough, like, or like, they'll be searching and they get into the concept of cheating and they don't work on themselves, and then it's like they run back to somebody because it's safe. You know what I mean? And it's not fair for a good guy to be taking a girl back that's constantly cheating, or vice versa. Like, you have to be able to stand strong in your own energy. You have to be able to check yourself. And until you're able to heal, what's the point of having a relationship? Because honestly, I see this a lot. I worry about a lot of my guy friends that are very empathic, because I'm like, honey, buddy, over here, buddy. She's gonna, if you marry, I pray to God, some of my friends, my will not marry the girl. And like, I see it's going to happen. And I
Yep.
see it so far in the future where it's got like, they're going to get cleaned out by for everything they have. If they marry her, if they stay with her. And like, this is the thing, like you as it's the rose colored glasses, you have to be willing to take them off, because if you've been with somebody 5-6 years and there's been absolutely no growth in that person, they're the same exact person. Like, as humans, we are supposed to grow and evolve. We are supposed to change. Nothing is ever constant. It's the ebb and flows of life that really hit. And you like, it's sad, but it's one of those things where it's like, I see it all the time, not just with my friends, but with clients too. And it's like, this is the part of that I love, because it's like, I've been there. I've been in extremely abusive relationships before. I'm not going to hold you. I have. And my greatest test as that super empath was, I was trying to take care of somebody for a very, very long time that didn't give me anything in return. And if I didn't kick him out, he's engaged to another girl now doing the exact same thing to her. And it's like, okay, but what did you do? You ran to another woman rather than healing yourself. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. They see everybody else getting married. So they're like, okay, I need to jump on this wagon too. But it's like, no, sit back and heal yourself, because it's like, I wish them well. But at the same time, it's like, I fear for this other girl. I don't even know her.
Yep.
But it's like, I feel so bad for her, because that girl is literally living my old life to a T. And I can tell you it was a living hell. Because his insides were a living hell. He doesn't, people in that energy, they don't know how to treat people. And how can you expect to have a relationship with somebody that doesn't know how to treat themselves well? Because if you can't treat yourself well, you can't treat anybody well, And like, this is the thing, like, this is what I see all the time, because usually with them, people either stay together and they destroy themselves, or they separate and evolve and they grow and they get stronger. And I'm here on this side, and this is what I do. I will throw you that rope. I will give you the tools to get out of that situation. I will give you the tools to recognize it. But until you're willing to admit that it's not a good situation, you can't be sitting here. And this is the thing, you have to be able to kind of call yourself. You have to be able to look in the mirror and call yourself. And that's what I do, because I'm that Hyoka empath that sits here, and I naturally mirror everybody I encounter. Whether it be, if they're in negative energy, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to mirror your negative energy back to you. That's what spirit does. I don't have a choice. This is why I have to be so careful of who I allow around me, because if people are in a toxic energy, it's going to be mirrored right back to them. Because what I am is, I'm spirit's kind of last resort to kind of wake people up out of their stuff, because I'm kind of that an extreme of that kind of, I guess, super empath. What I don't really want to call it that, because I don't like labels. But it's like one of those things where you really have to you really have to check. And this is the thing, being an empath, it's not just me. An empath in general are going to be drawn to the quote unquote bad girls or bad girls, because we're constantly trying to fix people.
Yep.
And when we're constantly trying to fix people, we're not looking in the mirror, because we're trying to fix somebody else rather than ourselves. So we're not addressing ourselves. And it's like, people can run, people can chase, but until you're willing to pull back, what's the point? Because at the end of the day, a good man and their healthy masculine energy will step up and show up. But until that happens, like and that's the thing, most men are very afraid. They go for, it's literally statistically proven that they go for, instead of the girl that they want, and then vice versa. This is for girls too. So it's just the pronouns it's how I'm channeling right now. So flip it however you want. It's literally statistically proven that people go for the easier option, They go for what's easier, even if that means it's the more toxic option, because they're not going to go for the one that's going to constantly check them, that's going to constantly call them out, that's going to constantly make them a better man or a woman, because people run from it, man.
Yeah, of
People,
course.
people don't want to face their shadow. And in order to heal, you have to turn around and look that darkness in the face, whether it be scary, because I see all of it. I see the trauma, like, because people aren't in toxic energies for no reason. They're in toxic energies because they've been through a lot of traumatic stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just reliving it and reliving it. And this is the cycle we fall into, because as empaths, we have this empathy for people and we want to help and we want to heal. But we can't heal somebody who's not willing to heal themselves. And I know I talk about this a lot, but it comes up at least once a week. And this is why Spirit wants to talk about inspiration and stuff, because, you know, I've had a difficult client. No other psychic wanted to deal with her. Not going to hold you. A little bit crazy. She's on drugs. Spirit convinced her to check herself into rehab.
Wow.
It's not manipulation. It's not manipulate, but it's, see, that's the inspiration people need. And it's like, yes, she's crazy. Yes, she's not in the best. Yes, she's difficult. But at the same time, that's what I'm here for. I'm like, again, I'll throw you the rope, but you have the choice, you know? And it's like, I told her, I was like, if you don't check yourself, I'm going to walk away. And she was like, okay, I'm going to rehab. Because it's like, and you see, Spirit says that's the impact I have on people, because it doesn't matter what like walk of life you come from. It doesn't matter what you've done in your past. All that matters is are you willing to help yourself or not? Are you willing to pull yourself up, or are you going to hang yourself with that rope? You know? And it's like, you can sit here and have a pity party for yourself. You can sit here and this is why it's kind of so important to really find that true source of inspiration within yourself, because if you don't have that, you're just a lost little duck that's floating around. Wow. And why is that something like we shouldn't be hating? We shouldn't be like, it's my job to help people, regardless of what walk of life, because it's draining for me. But at the same time, it's like, I've helped her. I can genuinely sit here and I've helped her. But at the same time, it's like, she's had to do the work. And this is the thing. This isn't everything I do, because I hold people accountable. I will hold your feet to the fire and I will not ease up until you turn around and do, because I will cut you off and I will walk away, you know? And that's the thing. People know if they don't step up and they're not I will walk away. No. Whether that be for clients, whether that be in relationships, because I'm not going to sit here and help you if you're not going to sit here and help yourself, you know? Yeah. And it's like, I can help, but you have to be willing to help yourself, because the wisdom I have, it's not even my wisdom, it's Spirit's. I know things. I've said, I know too much. I see too much, and it genuinely breaks my heart. Wow. Another client last week, she was sitting there and she was like, okay. She called and she was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you're thinking about leaving your husband, aren't you? And I'm like, she's like, yep. And I'm like, so if you're at the point where you're asking me, you know, and it's like, I don't like getting in the middle of stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, who else is going to say that? Because it's one of those things where like a lot of psychics, they won't get in the middle of stuff like that because it's too taboo. But at the same time, Spirit says that's what I'm here for, because I don't care. I literally don't care, and I will rip the Band-Aid off. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to like coddle you. And I've said that, but I'm not. Like, I need you to do the work, because it's healing is like, I can guide you. I can guide you through the healing, but until you're willing to look at yourself, I can't. you know? And
Mhm.
it's like, I can influence people, I can inspire people, but unless they have that source of inspiration, that fire, that fight, that drive within themselves to pull themselves up and climb and dig, what can I do? Like the most powerful healers in the world can't do anything unless they're willing to do themselves, like do the work themselves, because I can't sit here and I can't tell people that I haven't been through stuff, because I have. That's what makes me so strong. That's what makes me a strong healer, because I've healed, I've transmuted. Everything I go through, whether it be for better or for worse, you can knock me down 100 times. I'll be back up 101 swinging.
Yeah.
And that's the fight. That's the fire spirit says I have. And that's the fire. Like, I'll see that in people, but it's so dim. Like, you get into these toxic relationships as an empath, and you can literally see it. Like, you can, if you look back at pictures of me, like, granted, I deleted all the pictures. You can't look back at pictures.
But
But
I know what you
if
mean.
you were to literally look back at pictures of me from 2018, 2019, I was an 18-year-old girl. And all I can, like, it literally breaks my own heart.
See.
Sometimes staying in a situation is truly, 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 truly worse than leaving. Because staying in a situation that is toxic, if you're an empath, you're a sponge, and
Oh,
you're just going to absorb
absorb
all the
all of that.
darkness and
Get it.
absorb all. And what it does, you can literally see it. Spirit says I have a natural spark in my eyes. And if you look back at baby pictures, I've always had that. But when I was
During
in
those
that,
times,
but
no.
no, and I had to get it back. I had to get that fire and that fight back, because spirit says my purpose is so big, because not a lot of people can sit here and call people, because they're too worried about pleasing. They're too worried about their business going under. I can't worry about that, because you know what? My business is spirit. And if I'm not speaking the truth for spirit, what am I
Yeah.
doing? And it's like, I don't want to sit here and tell people to leave, but at the same time, like, I have seen it. Like, I've seen it once in my entire career, where I thought she walked away for one night, and I told her, if he's a good man, he will come back. He will fight. He will put in the fight, because sometimes you have to walk away for somebody to realize what they're missing.
Yeah.
But other times, if they're not willing to chase, like, it can either make or break you. The hard times can either make or break you, and you're not gonna get anywhere if you're just pushing it under the rug, if you're not speaking. Because in order to have a healthy relation, I've said that it takes two. It takes two in order to have, and this is the thing, you can't, until you heal yourself, you're just going to keep repeating the old patterns subconsciously, because even like past life stuff, like the past life stuff, everything is so rooted. Like, I can literally help you heal stuff that you've experienced in your past life. And you see, this is why we feel so connected to certain people, because we recognize them from their past lives. And it's like, this is the thing, as empaths, we're always going to be drawn to the unhealed people. We're always going to be drawn, because it's the thing. I truly believe spirit literally, even in my own personal life, spirit literally divinely orchestrates putting certain people on my path so I can trigger an awakening. I don't even mean to, but spirit just comes through, and I can't hold it. I have no hair on my tongue. People are either going to love me or people are going to hate me, and I'm okay with it. Like, I can't sit here and pretend to be something I'm not, because at the end of the day, the only thing I am is I'm spirit. Like, there are times I don't feel human. Like, my life is it's like I'm a walking movie book sometimes. And it's like, I can't control it. Sometimes I wish I could just be normal, but other times it's like, I see the impact I have. I see the positive impact. And it's like, that makes everything I do worth it, because I'm not going to lie. Being a psychic, being everything I am, it's incredibly draining. Not just personally, or not just in work, but personally as well, because it's like, you have to be able to separate it. And until you can separate it, you can't do anything, because you have to know yourself first, especially as an empath, because as empaths, we get lost. We get so lost in the sea of life. And what spirit says I am is I'm that beacon. I'm that beacon that will shine out, and I will continue to shine out, and I will continue to lead, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how, because people will, I've said it, people will try to push you down. That's the more lower vibrational energies. That's the stuff that doesn't kind of, people don't talk about, because there are bad things. There is a very dark side to spirituality. And that's the thing. You have to be comfortable with it. You can't run from it, because in order to kind of deal with that stuff, because I sage houses. Like, I will go in, it's called spiritual warfare, and it's called spiritual warfare for a reason, because there are, and I'm not trying, but there are negative beings on this earth plane, because it's earth. We are literally trapped between positive vibrations and lower, because earth is a place where everything can come. And when those negative entities get in, they can really affect people, and they get really attached to people. And you see, that's part of the Reiki. I'll sit here and I'll pull literally demonic or negative entities off of people, because they don't even know they have negative beings sitting in their chakra systems from, like, it can be this lifetime, it can be past lifetime, it can really be anything, because until you can heal, like, you don't even know what you're carrying around, And it's like, this is the thing, as we are always so inclined to help other people. And this is the thing for me, where it's like, as good, like, I know I'm good. Like, I attract the bad boys. I genuinely attract the bad boys. And it's like, God dang it. Why, spirit? Why? I've healed this. And, spirit keeps saying it's literally because I'm supposed to help them. Because who else is going to be able to kind of take them, pull them down to reality? Well, I don't know if I'm probably pulling them up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I literally serve as that, and I want to change it for the world, because it's what I do, it's what I love. But it's like, it gets to be a lot sometimes, because people run. Consistency is something that I've learned to be very okay on my own. And I've learned to be that inspiration for myself, because you know what? Spirit found me. Spirit put me in a nest. I was literally down and out for a very long time.
Okay.
And spirit took me in. They gave me the tools. And now what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to help other people through this stuff, because I've been through a lot. I've been through an awful lot. And spirit says everything I go through, it's because I can sit here and I can transmute it, not only for myself, but I can transmute it for other people now too, because spirit keeps saying, if I can do it, other people can do it too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, where it's like, okay, yes, spirit, I get that I'm an inspiration for people, but I want people to be an inspiration for themselves too.
True.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can't find light in other sources, because if you're trying to find the light in other sources, how do you know who you are? Beautiful. And until you know who you are, how are you supposed to love yourself?
Yeah. And we'll have to end it there, but it's a perfect way to end it, Lillian.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's remind everyone how we can reach out to you.
So the best way, if you want to book an appointment, you can call me at 802-282-7715. I'm on Instagram at green_mountain_medium. And then the YouTube and Facebook is Green Mountain Medium LLC.
Perfect. Oh, it's a pleasure having you here. We'll keep in touch. We'll book our session.
Yes,
and
I'll
thank
text
you for being here, becoming my friend. And
yes,
she's awesome, guys. She's the real deal. Reach out to her, and we'll be in touch soon for sure. Okay?
Yes, I'll give you a text.
All right. Thank you so much, Rita. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me. What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.